What kind of psychopath is willing to intentionally set off a global conflict that will lead to millions of deaths just to protect the value of a paper currency? It obviously isn't the president. The decision to invade Libya, Syria, and Iran was made long before Obama had risen to the national spotlight. And yet, he's carrying out his duty just like the puppets that preceded him. So who is it that pulls the strings? Often the best answer to questions like this are found by asking another question. Qui bono? Who benefits? Obviously, those who have the power to print the dollar out of thin air have the most to lose if the dollar were to fall. And since 1913, that power has been held by the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve is a private entity owned by a conglomerate of the most powerful banks in the world. And the men who control those banks are the ones who pull the strings. To them, this is just a game. Your life and the lives of those you love are just pawns on their chessboard. And like a spoiled 4-year-old who tips the board onto the floor when they start to lose, the powers that be are willing to start World War III to keep control of the global financial system. Remember that when these wars extend and accelerate. Remember that when your son or your neighbor's son comes back home in a flag-draped coffin. Remember that when they point the finger at the new boogeyman, because the madmen who are running this show will take this as far as you allow them to. So how much time do we have left? It's a question I hear constantly, but it's the wrong question. Asking how much time we have left is a passive posture. It's the attitude of a prisoner who's waiting to be taken out to a ditch and shot in the back of the head. What are our chances? Can we change course? Also the wrong question. The odds don't matter anymore. If you understand what we're facing, then you have a moral responsibility to do everything in your power to alter the course that we're on, regardless of the odds. It's only when you stop basing your involvement on the chances of success that success actually becomes possible. To strip the ill-begotten power from the financial elites and to bring these criminal cartels to justice will require nothing less than a revolution. The government is not going to save us. The government is completely infiltrated and corrupt to the core. Looking to them for a solution at this point is utterly naive. There are 3 stages of revolution, and they are sequential. Stage 1 is already underway. Stage 1 is the ideological resistance. In this stage, we have to actively work to wake up as many people as possible about what is happening and the direction we're headed. All revolutions originate from a shift in the mindset of the population, and no other meaningful resistance is possible without it. Success in this stage of the game can be measured by the contagion of ideas. When an idea reaches critical mass, it begins to spread on its own and seeps into all levels of society. In order to achieve that contagion, we need more people in this fight. We need more people speaking out, making videos, writing articles, getting this information onto the national and international stage. And we especially need to reach the police and the military. Stage 2 is civil disobedience, also known as nonviolent resistance. In this stage, and you do everything in your power to bring the gears of the state to a halt. Practiced in mass, this method alone is often enough to bring a regime to its knees. However, if you fail at this stage, Stage 3 is inevitable. Stage 3 is direct physical resistance. Direct physical resistance is the last resort, and it should be avoided and delayed as long as possible. And it should only be invoked after all other options have been thoroughly exhausted. There are those who talk tough and claim that they will resist when the time comes. But what those people fail to realize is that if you are inactive during the first 2 stages and save your efforts for the last resistance, then you will fail. Can only succeed if the people have established an attitude of active resistance. And active resistance is only possible after their minds have broken free from the mainstream propaganda. If you want to fight back, it's now or never. You're not going to get another chance, and the stakes are far higher than they were in Nazi Germany.
Y el canciller argentino Héctor Timerman denunció ante la Procuración General de la Nación el espionaje internacional al que han sido sometidos muchos de sus compatriotas. Entre los vigilados se encuentran políticos, diplomáticos y periodistas. Esta información fue facilitada por un miembro de la inteligencia de los países miembros del Mercosur ante la cita de este organismo la semana pasada. El titular de Exteriores explica que le fue entregado un sobre con detalles sobre las personas monitoreadas por una red de espionaje internacional. En relación al caso, una agencia ecuatoriana de noticias alertó que en su país varios funcionarios e incluso el propio presidente Rafael Correa fueron vigilados de manera fraudulenta. El analista internacional Alex Corrons opina que Latinoamérica debe velar y auditar las empresas de comunicación, las cuales son usadas como medio de seguimiento.
Bueno, lo primero que habría que hacer es esos países latinoamericanos, sobre todo, ¿no?, que parece ser que están siendo espiados, intentar de alguna manera contrarrestar este tipo de espionajes, detectando a esos agentes encubiertos de la CIA que se afincan en primer lugar en estos países y auditando sobre todo y vigilando mucho a las empresas que en muchos casos han utilizado, empresas de telefonía y de comunicaciones, para espiar a ciudadanos de otros países del mundo. Siempre van a tener el poder de espiarnos a todos y crear su mundo de Orwell, ¿no?, en el que todos podemos ser espiados, y aparentemente parece que hasta lo estamos empezando a ver con cierta normalidad, como si ya entrara dentro de la ley, ¿no?, el que nosotros, nuestra intimidad como ciudadanos pueda ser invadida. Siempre van a tener el poder de espiarnos a todos y crear su mundo de Orwell, ¿no?, en el que todos podemos ser espiados, y aparentemente parece que hasta lo estamos empezando a ver con cierta normalidad, como si ya entrara dentro de la ley, ¿no?, el que nosotros, nuestra intimidad como ciudadanos pueda ser invadida.
Pinochet ha hecho un genocidio en masa, pero yo veo algo más. Pinochet fue el banco de prueba del proyecto neoliberal a nivel del mundo y representa un modelo de militar que no sirve hoy, no encaja. Hoy se necesitan militares, en primer término, que hablen en inglés, que sean muy profesionales, pero tan profesionales que estén dispuestos a ir a cualquier parte de la Tierra para construir el nuevo orden mundial, o el gran desorden, no sé. Pinochet ha hecho un genocidio en masa, pero yo veo algo más. Pinochet fue el banco de prueba del proyecto neoliberal a nivel del mundo y representa un modelo de militar que no sirve hoy, no encaja. Hoy se necesitan militares, en primer término, que hablen en inglés, que sean muy profesionales, pero tan profesionales que estén dispuestos a ir a cualquier parte de la Tierra para construir el nuevo orden mundial, o el gran desorden, no sé.
The views expressed in this track are not directly those of low-key or logic. We're just drawing attention to the lifestyles which some people lead.
I was born in Bermondsey, one of the south parts.
And I was born in Basra, south side of Iraq.
We used to play football outside in the park.
We used to dodge bullets outside in the dark.
I never prayed, I was told there isn't a God.
I pray 5 times a day, it's like I live in a mosque.
Me, I'm easy with a pint and some cricket to watch.
They've sanctioned everything we got, so now it isn't a lot.
My mum and dad worked hard, always had employment.
My mum just left and my dad got poisoned. I was young but I was told that the government did it.
From my heart, I can say that I love being British. I grew with 5 older brothers and sisters.
Yeah, I had a lot of siblings, but some have gone missing. Now it's just me and my little sis.
Britain's got a lot of immigrants. They take our jobs every day. I swear I'm sick of it.
My uncle's trying to get to Britain quick.
I'm trying to find a job.
Me, I'm still illiterate.
Every 2 weeks I'm signing on.
We only had school a little bit.
I got kicked out of school very early, labelled as an idiot.
Before my uncle left us, he gave me his gun.
My girl just gave me a son.
You see, it's hot where I live. Every day I bake in the sun.
It's cold where I live, so I read every page of the Sun. And I'm getting mad with what I look at and read.
I just met a couple elders that are good on their deen.
My dad told me joining army would be good for the peas.
I started meeting, now I'm training with the Mujahideen, because I've heard that the Westerners are coming with bombs.
I spent months in the regiment training up to be
but
strong.
This is my land my country, I'll defend it till I pass.
I just got the message that they're sending me to Iraq.
Pain is the same, fam.
It's all relative.
They cry the same tears.
You cry for your relatives.
And one way or another,
My brother, we're all relatives.
home is where the heart is.
Yeah, that's where it is.
Pain is the same, fam.
It's all relative.
They cry the same tears.
You cry for your relatives.
And one way or another,
My brother, we're all relatives.
home is where the heart is.
Yeah, that's where it is. Now I'm in the south of Iraq. It's a smelly place, I don't know who to trust. Everybody's got a hairy face.
And Basra's a scary place, it's worse than it used to be. They dropping bombs every day.
Even little boys shoot at me.
I shoot at white faces and any green suit I see.
Every regiment's lost a couple of troops, we lost 2 or 3.
I still go to pray in the same place the mosque used to
I
be.
see little kids starving to death with no food to eat. But an order's an order, we gotta clean the city up.
They see how we're suffering and still they don't pity us. They shoot us every day, tomorrow is probably me.
We're trying to help these bastards, but it's like they don't wanna be free.
Yeah, these people don't know what freedom is.
I saw my colleague rape a woman against her will, but I didn't agree with it.
I shot a soldier in the face and then I had to run
My
quick.
sergeant got shot in his face by some dumb young kid. Now I just wanna go home, that's where my heart is.
My heart is in Basra, yeah, and never will I part it.
This war's going nowhere, tell me why did we start this?
I'm fighting regardless till I'm resting where Allah is.
Come to think of it, I should've never joined the army. And when I think about it, I don't hate these Iraqis.
I hear bullets flying past me, I'm scared but I can't run. I take my sister upstairs and get my uncle's old gun.
I don't know if it's terrorists or just some civilians, but I've been told to neutralize the threat up in that building.
I see the soldiers, they're about to pass. I take my pistol out and blast.
A bullet whizzes past my face and tears my friend's mouth apart. I saw red, started shooting to make them all dead.
I tried to guard my sister, but a bullet hit her
I
forehead.
ran up the steps to see if I buried them all, but all I saw
Was my little sister dead on the floor.
pain is the same, fam.
It's all relative.
They cried the same tears.
You cry for your relatives.
On one way or another,
My brother, we're all relatives.
home is where the heart is.
Yeah, that's where it is.
Pain is the same, fam.
It's all relative.
They cried the same tears.
You cry for your relatives.
In one way or another,
My brother, we're all relatives.
home is where the heart is.
Yeah, that's where it is.
Yeah, that's where it is. Yeah, that's where it is.